You're listening to Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Sponsored by Treebor Soft Mints.
Absolute Radio.
Good morning, this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. It's December 2012. A deserted building site. A man in a crumpled security guard uniform walks through the cold night, rubbing his hands together. The rain begins to fall, and he thinks to himself, and to think, I used to be Alan Johnson's bodyguard. Wowee. I like my Eastern Europe with a twist. And that was back in the USSR by Chubby Checker.
Oh, I love Chubby.
Get it? With a twist? Chubby Checker.
Oh, yeah. I'm there.
Who was Chubby Checker named after then?
A board game.
No. He was a big fan of Fats Domino. So his name is a version of Fats Domino.
Is that right?
Chubby, and then Checker instead of... Do you see what he did, Chubby? Anyway, so, do you know I once played in a softball, celebrity softball game?
Did you?
In the Veterans Stadium, Philadelphia. I was captained by Bill Cosby. He was the captain. Meatloaf played, John Grisham. Ron Howard played.
John Grisham.
And I remember Adam Sandler looking at all these assembled stars in the dressing room and saying, let me get this right, Chubby Checker is a no-show. And I don't know, for some reason it gave me particular joy. It's the little things in life, isn't it? Welcome to everyone listening. I'm Frank Skinner. I'm with Emily and Gareth.
You forgot our names for a bit there.
Yeah, just for a second.
I told you we needed their name badges still.
I'm keen on the name badges.
As I said to you this morning, you've changed since you had those crisps named after you.
I know. It's like, you never know what's going to go to your head in this business. But, yeah, Frank Roast Dinner. That was it for me.
Yeah.
So, yes, welcome, and Chubby Checker, yeah, that's that, played that, that's that done. Hold on a minute.
Saturday morning!
Yeah, that's my aide de memoire. I've had a difficult week, as you can probably tell by my blustering. I had, as you may know, I have a girlfriend. Some think I'm a bit old to have a girlfriend in that
what do you
phrase.
mean?
Well, you know, because...
Oh, I say it should be a wife.
Or do you have... Or should it be
a lady
friend? Lady friend is... No, lady friend is just someone you're seeing on the side, isn't it?
Is it?
That's what I always am.
I remember my mum always used to say, of course, Mr. Shaw, he's got a fancy woman. And I love the idea of a fancy woman. Anyway, so... Me and my girlfriend had quite a big row. We had a row that was so big on Sunday that I did something I've never done before as an antidote to being in a row. No, it's not what you think. I didn't go all David Soul. I went to bed. The row was so intense. This is like in the day. The row, it was so intense. I went to bed for 3 hours. That was my...
So you removed yourself from the row?
Yeah, but in big time, I slept.
You slept it off?
I was so exhausted. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to go and have a sleep. Mid-row. When I got up, Kath was still rowing. I think she'd probably continued for the whole 3 hours. I hadn't noticed I'd left the room.
Can I just say, if I was Kath, that would have irritated me so much. Do you know why?
Well, here's hoping.
No, that you could sleep during a row. How can you do that?
I know, that's right. I think it's those sleeping tablets she ground up and put in my coffee. Well, while I was sleeping, she told me that she'd been on the internet for 2 hours looking at flats.
Wow.
That's what I call a row. Look at the... Oh, man,
we can't know what it's about, no?
What can you know what it was about? No, it was so trivial and stupid.
They always are.
Yeah, it was...
So you were wrong.
Yes, you're right. It was about come fly with me. No, it wasn't. It was... I mean, you know, some people... I when I'm in a row, I sometimes think, oh, I've had enough of this row now.
Yeah.
Can we just go back to being normal? But I want to go back, ping, like that. I don't want to have 2 days of talking about our relationship. I just want to go, oh, go on, just go, what do you go? Anyway, so should we go out? Should we get to that? That's what I want it to be like. But she don't like that. She likes a ramp at the beginning and at the end.
You have to have a ramp.
No, I don't like a ramp.
That's what I'm like. I mean, I think traditionally you would think that it was, you know, gender roles, but I need closure. I need to talk about it. Laura Like, if we have an argument
Gareth's
too late,
wife.
my wife, she can just go to sleep. She can
Can she?
do
Oh,
that.
she's
and,
like Frank.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Like
it's-
two peas
I
in a
thought-
pod, you and Laura.
I thought I'd invented this going to sleep. That's a good idea.
Well, no,
See, some
because
people,
not in the day. She doesn't just go to sleep. In
some
the day.
people, they have apparently, and I know it's a little early in the morning for this, but they have the physicals.
Oh, the
At the
conjugals.
end of it, they have the physicals to get out, and they say it's the best physicals they ever have. But I fear if I'm having it and there's still a bit of the row in me, it could lead to strangling.
Oh, God.
So I
Frank.
don't get, I don't do that. But
I don't approve of that, Frank. Why should they
What,
get a
strangling?
treat?
I don't.
No, the conjugals. Why should they get a treat if they've been mean? That's not
Yeah,
fair.
you shouldn't
Wow.
use it as a weapon.
No. And also, you should,
for you.
I also don't think you should assume it's a treat necessarily.
It is if you come round mine, honey.
Well, if anyone has got any advice of how to get out of a row, I would very much like to hear from you on 8, 12, 15. I say 8, 12, 15. Let me hear you say 8, 12, 15. 8, 12, 15. That's the sort of spiritual version of it. Our guest today is Sarah Millican.
She's a proper friend of the show.
Oh, she is a bona fide. I'm gonna press the friend of the show. She is properly a friend. She's also a double nominee at tonight's Comedy Awards. So we only get the best in here. Let's face it.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
I was asking people how to get out of a argument. I believe we've had replies.
We have.
That's more than I got during the argument most of the time.
We've had some texts in. We've had Milo from Newport, Frank,
Milo,
who says, Frank, the best way out of an argument with a woman is to give up. They're right, we're wrong.
Is he in the Likely Lads, Milo, in the 1960s? Just no one says that anymore, do they? They're right, we're
I
wrong.
quite like his worldview. It's very simple.
Well, you would like it. But I like the, I like this sort of unashamed, old-fashioned attitude to the gender.
Well, my way to get out of
War.
the row is to end the relationship. It works every time.
Yeah, I used that for a long time, but it led to periods of desperate loneliness.
You need
We're
to
on
get out
Absolute
more.
Radio, ladies and gentlemen.
You found a nice one now, though.
I did,
You're
I
just
found-
with the wrong women.
I found it. No, that's not true. I went out with some fabulous women. In fact, I might list them after the news.
No, don't do that.
No, maybe I
We
won't.
can't handle the lawsuit.
Frank's
Well, we
recommendation.
don't have the time. Anyone else?
Yeah, we've had one from D4V3.
Oh, is that a robot?
What's that?
That's
We
coordinates.
don't have enough robots
why.
sending in. Do you think he's on a raft, adrift at sea? I feel we should help him in some way.
When the fight is at its peak, smile and tell them they look lovely. It always works.
That's not a bad idea, is it?
That is good.
But I wouldn't like Kat to start thinking she's at her loveliest when she's screaming at me.
No.
Because you
Because-
might think that you require that all the time.
Yeah, no, I don't want that in my life. I like the quiet life. I'm a bit worried that it's
I
all
like
from
the
men.
quiet life.
It's all from men saying stuff like, you know what they're like. Don't women have any say in this?
Well, there is one from a lady called Jane. Most of the time when I
My dear Lady Jane, can I see you again? Carry on.
Most of the time when I row with my boyfriend, there comes a point when we both end up laughing at the ridiculousness of it all. The trouble really starts if only one of us starts laughing. That's true.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever reached the ridiculous laughing stage.
Have you
know.
not?
No, not that I can think of. The ridiculous crying stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does
No,
that count?
that's good for. I don't do it on purpose, but sometimes me crying has helped end the argument.
Oh,
Do you
good.
cry?
Yeah, sometimes I've cried.
Real
Sometimes-
tears,
yeah,
or
real-
little
no-
girl on Britain's Got Talent, can I see it again tears?
No, real.
Oh, okay.
Only when it's I can't turn it. I can't turn on the waterworks on purpose.
Do you
No.
cry a
Not that
lot?
feminine.
Oh, whoa. This has all gone very...
Oh dear.
We're back in the 70s.
The
this
battle
one.
of the sexes.
Yeah,
It's happened to
exactly.
Gareth.
Someone said, yeah.
What?
No, I decided not to read that one out after all before vetting.
Sensible.
Yeah, don't read that one out.
Okay.
So, Gordan Ramsay, speaking of the battle of the sexes,
What, has he not decided?
No, I think, well, he seems to be battling against humanity. He looks terrible. There's a picture of him in the paper today, isn't there?
Frank, what? His face has collapsed. I mean, in fact, if you want to get a copy of today's Sun, everyone, page 41, there's a lovely picture of him.
Yeah, I mean, he
Shows him in full effect. Page 41, the
41 in
Sun.
the-
Yeah, okay. That's
So,
a good,
let us know what you think.
good advert for the papers there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he, well, he's supposed to have had an hair transplant, first
Yeah,
of
there were
all.
suggestions, weren't there?
£30,000.
Wow.
That's... Get a hat. Get a hat outside the Albion ground for about a tenner. Anyway, they don't think it through. They said they got money to
It
throw
wasn't because
about.
of the transplant. There were other reasons. He was allergic. It was an allergy to horses, and he had gasoline poured on him by gangsters in Venezuela.
Well, yeah.
Costa Rica.
Oh, sorry,
Costa Rica, Venezuela, that'd be all right. No, well, yes, it says here, I had petrol doused, gasoline poured all over my hair, and I had an horrific infection.
What?
Seems to me there's the middle of that story is missing, because once the gangsters have tipped the petrol over your head, I don't want to know about the infection. I want to know what happened next.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it? I mean, why is he still around in this situation? Was it a Google, a bit of a Google special? No matches.
Well, I saw the documentary, and it was about shark fin
There was
soup.
a documentary
There
about
was
him
a
having
documentary.
petrol tipped
No,
over his head.
no, it was
I
about-
would have
Can I
watched
just
that.
say-
Why didn't you tell me that was on?
Also, you've always got to use the word doused. When people talk about petrol, they always like to say doused.
Well, I like he said petrol and gasoline in case the
Yeah.
story's printed both sides of the pond, as they say.
And he's allergic to horses. I don't know why they're transplanting horsehair on him in the first place.
Well,
Wow.
that'll be the main course.
Oh.
Good night, everyone. I'm going now. Yeah, so you watched a docu... What about this, though? I'm just reading something else. I was in Napa for Christmas.
Is this you?
No, this is... where is... Is that a
Napa
slang?
Valley, California.
Oh, I thought it was a slang term for bed. I mean, I was in the Napa for a couple of hours. I had an argument with the wife.
I've been in Costa Rica too long.
Yeah.
Isn't
Isn't it for your head, a Napa? You know, any old iron? He looks dressed proper dapper from his Napa to his feet, dressed in style and all the war with father's
What's
old
he
great.
doing? It's got like Vanessa Redgrave's BAFTA speech.
Sorry. It's, I'd say I've had a difficult week.
I know.
No, well, yeah, so he's also... He had gasoline poured over him by bandits in Costa Rica, and then he got allergic to horses in Napa. And that's why he looks like he looks. Nothing to do with face transplants and hair transplants.
In this picture, though, he is standing next to David Beckham. And maybe that's just how he looks next to David Beckham.
Well, we all do. He's a very, very beautiful man. But, you know, I chose brains.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
So, what was we talking about? Ramsey's hair thing. Actually, the South American petrol element of that story, he claims he had petrol poured over his head in Costa Rica. I was in Mexico once. I was in old Mexico. Me and old Pancho, we set out a trail for Oaxaca.
It's a funny name for David Baddiel, Pancho.
Yeah, well, he was in Pancho at the time. I think he was Baron Hardock. And there was a guy sitting at the... I wasn't with Dave. There was a guy sitting at the side of the road. You know when you stop at a zebra crossing, not a zebra crossing, but traffic lights, somebody comes and cleans your windscreen and expects money, that kind of thing. Well, what he was doing, he was a sort of fire eater. So he sat by the side of the road with a big tub full of petrol. And when the cars came up, he stood up, he had a man-sized swig out of it, lit a match, went... and then went from car to collect change.
Wow.
The whole bottom part of his face was completely black. Completely burnt black from this thing, and his hands were black. And that was... People were giving him, 4p.
Blimey.
What about that for a way of making a living?
Yeah.
Anyone who's recently been made unemployed, think on.
Especially when it's chilly.
No, it's Mexico. Yeah, so that was the strange thing. But on the hair theme, did you see... This is not an advert for Ludwig Kennedy's Did You See, which I don't think is on air anymore. Did you see that Paul Daniels has sold his toupee on eBay?
Oh, yes, I did see that. £74.
74. I'd have paid £1,000 for it. Paul Daniels' toupee only got 74. I mean, that is... Surely, if you wore Paul Daniels' toupee, it would give you magical powers. Surely.
I don't think it would be... It's a sort of... It's a bit of a weird squirrel colour, his hair, isn't it? It's a red squirrel.
I'd be fine with that. What's that? Does that mean you only get certain kind of magical powers?
Well, no,
like
I just
climb
think...
trees?
No, if you were going to wear a toupee, it should be vaguely in the same ballpark as your current hair colour. Otherwise, it might look a bit Forsythian.
Not if I wear it just on my left shoulder. Just so the parrot can get a bit of extra purchase. I think that's different. You know, I might start climbing trees again, now I come to mention it. I don't think I've climbed a tree since the 70s.
You're not?
You don't see many middle-aged men climbing trees. Didn't Keith Richards do it and fell?
He fell out of a coconut
Well, that's Ronnie
tree.
Wood when he's in the studio next.
Yeah.
If you can get past the nurses. The nurses, they don't let you get anywhere near him. Comes in with about 6 nurses, Ronnie Wood. And, I can't even get close to talk to him, you know.
Do you know this morning...
They're wheeling those screens as well.
Frank,
Right.
I liked it this morning before we went on air, and you were saying how you had a birthday coming up, and you said, "Oh, I'm getting old," and Daisy, who works on the show, went, "Oh, that's all right, it's Ronnie Wood."
Yeah, well, I was trying to work out if I'm the oldest
Yeah.
presenter on Absolute, and that was Daisy bailing me out. But there was some doubt in her voice. I think she said, "Well, Ronnie Wood's probably older." Yes, I think he is. I think he probably is. Yeah, I don't know what he is in crow years. He must be 400 or so.
This is Frank Skinner
Absolute.
Radio.
We've had some more texting, Frank, about arguments and how to deal with them.
Okay.
We've actually had one in which I rather like. He's remained anonymous.
Are they all from men? Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say I want the female angle. Anyway, carry on.
Well, he says, "Morning. My wife won't let anything from the past be used in an argument."
Brilliant.
What, like a metronome?
He goes on.
Like that.
He goes on.
Is that from the past?
Gramophone. Gramophone's better.
No,
Can we
metronome.
do that again?
Blunderbuss
Can we do that?
That would have been good.
Blunderbuss. Okay, let's do it again.
Okay.
Don't workshop it.
What? She won't let him use anything from the past.
What about blunderbuss?
You rascal.
Just a funny word.
Oh dear, sorry. I'm
Perfect
still
word.
laughing. Okay, so my wife won't let anything from the past be used in an argument.
That's a strict rule, isn't it?
Well, he says that doesn't seem too unreasonable.
No, incorrect. Seems very unreasonable to me.
It also included the very immediate past. Sample argument. Him. I can't believe you just called me a fat pig. Her. Why are you bringing that up for? Why are you always dragging up the past? Just let it go.
This was... I imposed this rule when I went out with Dr. David Starkey. And he was virtually silent most of the time.
I think this one might be from a lady as well. I'm not definitely.
Dude looks like a lady.
Hi, it's from 796. Hi, Frank and team.
Okay.
Solution to rows: write a letter to each other explaining how you feel, then shelve the row and do something distracting.
Oh.
Write a letter. So how does this go then? So you're mid-scream, and then you sit down at your desk. Are we writing it freehand or typing it up?
A quill, probably.
Wow, like a quill.
Oh no, you're not allowed to use anything from
No.
the past.
Don't bring up the past.
Oh no, so you'd have to use, well, even my word processor.
Your Amstrad.
If you've got
Yeah.
Word 97.
Can't use your Amstrad.
So I get my iPad out,
Yeah, then you're safe.
and then I knock up a quick... And what the letter would be about, the nature of the row, or your love for that person?
Yeah, I suppose.
Well, it says do something distracting. I worry that strays dangerously into conjugals, which we've already
Oh, no.
said we're not fans of.
No.
Post-row.
None of that. Not when you're writing a letter.
You two watching telly?
I was watching telly.
Well, it was...
I caught you.
Telly screen.
There was the race on the telly. I was just watching a bit of... yeah. So,
Just watching telly.
I might try that. I might try the writing a letter.
Sorry, I just watched telly.
Have you never seen it before? It's amazing, isn't it? It's almost as people in a box. Yeah. No, I think that's a good idea, the writing
Yeah.
letter. I don't know if you can... It's hard to carry it out when you're wrestling.
I know.
My text,
Maybe I could have a letter up my sleeve ready for the occasion that I just whip out.
fill in the blanks.
Yeah, exactly. Put the name in at the top.
Yeah, 2. I think you are a...
Yes.
Can we just say, though, Frank, you and Kath did resolve it, I presume, and everything was all fine?
Well, we resolved it in a quite an interesting way. She phoned me up the next day and said, we should talk about this. Can
She
we
phoned
meet?
you up? That doesn't sound good. Where were you at this point? With Lenny Henry in the travel lodge?
Yeah, in the same room.
Alan Johnson's bodyguard.
Can you... Are you saying that Lenny Henry is Alan Johnson's bodyguard? Is it casual throwaway remarks
I
like
don't
that
think-
start rumours that
Really?
bring people's
Exactly.
careers
Well,
down?
they haven't shown the picture yet.
No, we don't know it isn't him. But I think I don't know if he could
Should keep
hold
their
down.
options open,
He
isn't
couldn't. He couldn't do that. And the magicians. A man can only take so much pain.
So go on. So Kath called you up.
Yeah, and we met at the. I don't like to name names, but it's the Cafe Nero.
Right.
Which is lovely because they have a violinist in there, which is romantic, but the flames are off-putting. So I was in Cafe Nero, and it felt like we hadn't met for years. It was like a sort of brief encounter thing. I walked in, she was sitting at a table, we drank tea, we talked. I realised it was like falling in love all over again. She seemed more beautiful than ever. And it was great. It was almost like a little role play thing. I was dressed as a member of the French Resistance. And she is Annie Oakley, the crack shot gun person from Buffalo Bill's Travelling Wild West show. But, it worked.
Oh.
Thanks for that.
Ice baby. I'm sorry, what was that? Yeah.
I'm going to start... All right, stop the clicking.
That bit. I just start another song.
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't like that. Sounds like they're trying to get some off their fingers.
They probably were.
My
Sweets,
girlfriend,
I like
who I've
sweets.
spoken about a lot this morning, she's a big fan of the pressure cooker. So I spend
Oh,
a lot
is
of
she?
time at home having to turn the telly up really loud because I can hear in the background. And now I'm just going to start going. And the pressure. I'm working out my whole routine for this week. I'm going to climb some trees. I'm going to sing some. That was Queen and David Bowie. It actually says on my bit of paper, Queen David Bowie. I thought these New Year's honours have gone completely out of hand.
Oh, we've had some positive feedback from music today, Frank.
Lovely.
And
Yeah.
Frank, Metronomy, another belter indie track. I maintain that you really are turning into John Peel. Will you be doing a festive 50 this year, Tony in Cambridge?
Oh.
Well, we certainly will be having another session from the fall later on. Always different, always the same. That's as close as it gets, sorry. But that's very
Very
kind.
good.
I'll be compared to dead people till the cows come home. It's one of my things. I just wish you wouldn't bring up the past. No, that's lovely, thank you.
Right, we had a text in from Anthony from Birmingham.
Oh, Anthony from
One of your
Birmingham.
fellow
I'm
countrymen.
just thinking if I know him.
Oh, well, he's not called R. Anthony, so you probably don't.
No, maybe not.
He says, Dear Frank, Gareth and Emily, I'm usually a podcast listener, as I'm normally asleep now, working nights. However...
Hold it. I'm normally asleep now, working night.
I don't understand that bit either.
My brother had a job like that at Longbridge.
Yeah, maybe John.
Stop pointing at the telly and
Now,
distracting me.
there's a bloke
You like
called
that,
Paul
man?
Lewis who's on every Saturday morning who's got the most incredible hair. His hair all goes in one direction. Which I
Yeah.
know just sounds normal, but you realise when you analyse the human hair, often your hair goes in one or two different directions. Not Paul.
No, one way only.
I wondered if he was in one direction. Or his hair was, at least.
So anyway, so Anthony from Birmingham says he's normally sleeping. However, as you will have my two favourite comedians in the same room,
Oh, that was nice.
in Frank and Sarah,
Oh.
I'm fighting tiredness to listen to it.
That was a bit intense.
Build up my hopes.
Do you like my
and then
Simon
dash
Cowell
them.
pause?
Oh, I like your Simon Cowell pause, especially the claws on the left one. That's amazing.
I like it when you put the whole outfit on.
Speaking of outfits, have you prepared your outfit for this evening?
Oh, don't. I feel stiff with stress, Frank.
Oh, me too.
Sometimes have that.
So I'm going to the Comedy Awards tonight.
Oh, yes.
I didn't like the way...
I'm not. Can I say I'm not?
Why aren't you going?
And nor am I.
What's wrong with you people?
Well, no, I'll tell you why I'm not going, because not only am I son nomination, I'm son invitation.
Well, your other half's going. Kath's going.
I know. She's going.
God.
You're
Should she
going.
not have-
I'm not going.
Don't say
Not have
you're
sorted
going.
something out?
Am I the king of comedy in exile?
Tell you what, name someone after a packet of crisps and
Yeah, and they never
no,
get
they're
invited to anything cool ever again.
But you're Frank
that's up
Skinner
on-
roast dinner. You should be there. I bet Steak and Ale Pie's going.
Oh, steak and ale pie will be there.
Jimmy Concarney, he'll be there.
Don't plug the other Chris.
Oh, sorry.
So, Jorgen, what are you going to wear tonight?
Well, this is the problem, Frank. Because now that I work in fashion, I feel tremendous pressure, to look the part. So I've got about 4 dresses now to choose from.
oh, you should narrow it down definitely. Don't
Well, what do you think, guys?
I think you should change, like Britney. 3 awards change, 3 awards change, 3 awards
I
change.
see.
Yeah.
Well, I've got... Well, this year, they've changed it. They've got celebrity entrance and non-celebrity entrance.
Oh.
Haven't you had that for years?
Oh, my...
I'm terribly sorry. I'm terribly sorry.
Oh, my God.
By the way, Andy Coulson resigned. Did you know that?
Did he?
Imagine how the people around him must feel. Maybe even his ex-girlfriends. They must be upset about it. What do you think, Em?
So, I decided to wear tonight... I've got a black dress, which is
what,
nice.
LBD?
Oh, Frank, I love it when you get fashion right. It's an LBD. It's very va-va-boom as well.
Oh, is it? What, on the top end?
Top end and bottom.
Oh, my
Petrol or
goodness.
diesel?
What I'm worried about, though, Frank, am I going to look a little bit Carol Vorderman, she's still got it, not bad for an old bird? That's what worries me with a too tight dress.
No, I know,
you
I know what you mean.
You've got to be wary of that.
That one recently where she was okay from the front but not from behind in the catsuit.
Oh, well, Frank and I may
saw
not think the
Carol
same.
Vorderman.
So that's Frank's neighbour, you can't say, he can't
I
say it.
should have brought that up so specific. If she's listened to this now...
It's in the papers.
Yeah, I know,
Sorry,
but there's a lot of
Carol,
things in the
I thought
papers
it
I
was-
wouldn't say on
I
here.
thought it was fine from behind. There. Does that help?
Okay.
Does that help?
Okay,
You do the math.
yeah. There's a gold dress, Frank. Is it a bit
Solid gold.
Vanessa Feltz New Year's Eve party?
Oh, I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean, Frank?
Yes. Yeah, gold dress. Yeah, maybe that's too... I don't know if you can be too much, but it's more strictly than
Good
Comedy
point.
Awards.
And I've got a green. Now, hear me out.
Okay.
It's a nice green. It's a lace confection. It is quite busty, though.
Green lace.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Oh,
No, it's not.
What, does it come with a bow and arrow? No. I wouldn't mind one at the Comedy Awards. I should warn you, I'm firebombing the whole place at about 9 o'clock.
Oh, Frank.
But, you can't have... I feel like...
What time are we meeting up, Frank?
Clint Eastwood...
All in black.
Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven, he used to be like this big hotshot
Yeah,
gunslinger, and then he goes off to live on a farm and just turns his back on the whole... That's what I'm like. I'm Clint Eastwood on the farm. Someone's going to turn up one day and says, there's trouble in Comedy Town. I want to start drinking again and head in there. Clear up the whole place. I'm worried about it, I'll be honest with you.
But
I
Frank,
don't do that anymore.
what am I going to do about the celebrity entrance? Because I'm going to turn
I think
up.
you should have it stitched up.
Stop it.
Oh, my goodness. Maybe, I think we should move on. We'll come back to... I think we should move on. The producer's doing that cut-throat sign 4 inches from my face.
Frank on
Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Tim from Catford has suggested, Frank, if you wanted an invite to the Comedy Awards, you should have offered to be the designated driver.
Oh, that's a good point. No, I don't drink. Funnily enough, the first time I ever went to the Comedy Awards, I was there in my dicky bow and all that. Do you remember there was an actor called Ronald Fraser, a comedy actor?
Oh, vaguely, yeah.
Yeah. And he walked up to me and I thought, God, Ronald Fraser's approaching me. He must know who I am. And he said, is my car ready? So, small world.
I did a gig last night, and one of the other acts said to me, "Can I have a light at 18, please?" Thinking I was the sound person, because you flash people.
And what did he want? A light 18?
A light at 18. Sorry, that's a bit.
Oh, it's very technical.
Comedy.
I thought you
Oh, there's
said...
a bit of technical material
I
there.
just said a light 18.
Can I just say, Frank, we've had no tea.
We've had no tea.
And do you know why that is?
I know exactly, because I just went to the toilet and Sarah Millican is in an adjoining room and all our staff, everyone from Absolute is gathered round her, and I could just hear her voice. I know she'll forgive me this impression, saying, "Well, little one, what do we need?" And then I could hear laughter, massive, just one after the next. She's storming it. She's storming it next door.
Yeah.
And the lady who makes our tea, Daisy, has just stopped to listen.
Yeah, we're parched.
Yeah, but you know, Sarah's got 2 nominations for the Comedy Awards.
yeah.
I've got none, so that's what you have to live with in this crazy old world. She'll be in a minute, Sarah. Thank God.
Frank, we've had
She
some texts
stopped the whole place.
Oh, it's chaos
with her
since she's
crazy
arrived.
comedy.
Frank, we've had some texts in.
Good.
We've had Dave Coxon. Wasn't he in Blur? Anyway,
Graham.
he's in... Oh, sorry. All right.
Dave was the
Very
drummer.
aggressive the way you said that. Graham.
Yeah, he's a bit of a Blur fan. His life's a blur. I've often said that.
Dave Coxon from Durham.
Lionel Blur.
You know, we were talking about Paul Daniels' toupee.
Yeah.
His rug is still on eBay. It finishes today. There have been 48 bids so far. The highest bid is £1,120.
Well, that's more like it. So I was erroneously told it went for 74. You can still get it. How much is it? 1,000?
120. How much did your... Because we should say at this point, you put your hair on eBay.
Can I say that was real, though?
Yeah, I know.
A toupee? Does a toupee have your own hair on it?
No, but it's human hair.
No, it's because
Unless you're really
yeah.
cheap. It's
It's not Paul Daniels, it's human hair.
He says it's one of his theatrical wigs. Yeah.
Theatrical, is it? Well,
When
I could come round our house and tell me stories about working with Sir John Gielgud. I look forward to that. I'm hiding from Ellen Bedell. It's a little... that's my only John Gielgud. You know, certain I can do some impressions, but I can only say one thing when I do them.
We've had some other texts in.
Good.
We had one in which says, "Help, my car keys have gone to Pieland," from James in Bomo.
Now, that is a reference to the thing we did on the podcast, which
Yeah.
you told the story,
Yes,
didn't you, Gareth?
it was Iris Murdoch and John Bailey. Their house was the writers. House was so filthy.
Iris Murdoch was a novelist. I didn't know
Yeah.
John Bailey. Is it?
He was a writer as well.
Oh yeah, he was a +1. Let's face it, at the literary awards.
And
He didn't go through the celebrity entrance.
No, I don't think he did. I imagine there's a literary entrance there.
They did have a literary entrance because it was so messy.
Oh, I see. Literary, very good. It's nearly up there with Blunderbuss.
You're so funny that you might even get people on the show to talk to you.
What do you mean?
No, I meant in reference to Sarah
not-
Millican.
yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, you mean on the
I wasn't being rude.
I thought you meant me. Don't put me on the pressure. Under pressure.
So go on, guys. So
Ice baby.
that was Pieland. They used to say Pieland.
Yeah, they used to because once they had a pie and they lost it. They just
lost
lost
a
it
pie
in
in
the
the
mess.
house.
Never found the pie, and so when they lost things, they said it had gone to Pieland.
I wonder what happened to that pie. That's this week's phone-in.
You're listening to Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio, the softest, mintiest show in town. Sponsored by Tree Bar Soft Mints.
Absolute Radio.
And blow me if we ain't been joined by Sarah Millican. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Oh, you're absolutely... This is a... Sorry, I haven't got your mic up there.
Oh, I'll say it again. Hello.
What, you want a Comedy Award nomination and your mic up? Not in this show.
Sarah's more than friend of the show, Frank. She's like our Sarah, you would call her.
I think this is your third... I think that might be the first guest who's done 3 trips. Is that right?
Lee Mack.
Lee Mack.
Okay. You didn't
And
have
Charles
to say
Bronson
that.
as well.
You could have totally lied. You could have totally lied and said yes, just to make me feel nice.
Charles Bronson hasn't actually been here. We've talked
No,
about him.
3
You
times,
can't
yeah.
count.
He's friend of the show, sorry.
If he turns up, let's face it, we'll have to barricade the studio. So we were just talking about the fact that Emily has got a frock sorted, or she's on. There's 4 in the frame.
4?
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Well, I had, like, a spay dress that I didn't use for the royal variety.
A what dress? Sorry,
Spay.
spay. Isn't that
Yeah.
what they do to animals to stop them having children?
Spay. Just a spay one
Oh,
that I
spay.
hadn't used.
Oh, okay.
And but then I put it on and I felt a bit like a Quality Street because it's purple.
What colour? Oh, purple's good, though.
But then I said to my boyfriend, because it's on the telly, in this dress, I don't want to win because I'd have to get up on the stage. So he said, maybe you should go and get a dress that you want to win in.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I've got another one now. But I managed to get a bit knocked off because it's coming away. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. It's coming away in various places, but it's really nice.
Oh,
so
Sarah.
I got 10% knocked off.
Sounds an extraordinary outfit.
But then she said, because I've never asked for money off ever, but I was inspired by somebody who told me they got money off yesterday. So I said, is there any chance I could get some, maybe some money knocked off? And she said I could take 10% off. You're on the telly, aren't you? Oh, no. Because you just don't want to be seen as a cheapskate and famous. Great. Brilliant. Thanks very much. So I have a dress. I'm not convinced that it's the right one. Why have you got 4? Can I ask a question, Emily? Why have you got 4?
I need to feel covered. Well, no, I won't be covered at all, actually, if the dress I want to wear, I wear. But I need to feel like I've covered every eventuality. I mean, Frank suggests I change into them throughout the evening.
Yes, like Jennifer Lopez, who's maybe presenting an award, to come out
Well,
each
why
time.
choose Jennifer Lopez as an analogy?
I think she's not very good at choosing one outfit.
No,
I think she
I've
just
heard
come
that
out.
about.
In,
We all have our faults. She's still Jenny on the block.
That's her one
She would
fault.
be if I brought back Execution. So, can I say you're absolutely on the crest of a wave, Sarah?
Thank
Every
you.
time you come, you've got a bit more famous and successful. Isn't it fabulous?
It's
Oh, come on, it
it's
is.
ridiculous, is what it is. You
Yeah.
know, I used to work in a job centre. It's very strange to me to have this kind of life, but I'm enjoying it. I think I got papped the other day for the first time.
What do you mean with a car horn? You shouldn't just step out like that. That ice cream could have been you.
I was going to say that's pooped, but that's something else entirely. Yeah, somebody asked for my autograph in the street, and then a man took a photo of me later on down the street, and I thought, he doesn't know who I am, but he saw me sign an autograph and thought she must be somebody. So he took a photo, and then he'll get in and he'll go, does anybody know who that is? And just show it around.
I think you underestimate your celebrity. Should we say, by the way, and we should say that you are, apart from all this, you're on tour.
Yes,
You're
I
still
am
at the
indeed.
coalface, let's remember
oh God,
that.
absolutely. It's still the
You
best
sound
part
like
of the
someone
job.
who should be at the coalface, if you don't mind me saying.
My dad was. I'm such a
Well,
cliche.
my
so.
dad was as well, oh God, yeah. Yeah, he was in West Cornforth in County Durham,
Oh, really?
a mine that doesn't even exist anymore.
What was his job?
I don't know, he probably told me, but something to do with coal.
Could have worked in the canteen.
Oh, well, he might have done. No, I think he went down. He got
went-
dirty.
He got dirty.
Yeah.
Canteen still.
Yeah, true. Mainly gravy, looking back. That might explain it. So you're on tour at the moment.
Yes, I'm halfway through. I've done
you wanna
60
sort
dates
of
and I've
admit-
got another 60 to go.
Wowee.
Yeah, I know.
That is a big tour. I think it says here the tour now stands at 121 dates,
Yes.
and I like the phrase "now stands," so it
Like,
might
that
get
could
longer.
change. Well, no, this one's not going to get longer, but then they're sort of starting to think about booking the next one, which would start in the autumn. So it's
God
it's great,
bless
but
you.
it's crackers.
Yeah.
Because the venue that I'm doing, like, the venues are much bigger on this leg, because this is the leg that we added when the first one went well. And the venue in Liverpool, I'm doing a 1,600-seater. It's the Philharmonic. Like, I feel like I should have at least a band behind us. What a waste of a stage. And brilliant acoustics, me just telling rude jokes. I feel like I should do at least a couple of forward rolls to fill up the stage.
Well, there's time. There's time to work on them.
A couple of cartwheels.
Funny you got one ready for your acceptance tonight.
Yeah, I could do a backward one maybe tonight. That would be a good way, because that's comedy if it's bum first, isn't it? So I'll give it a go.
Yeah, comedy if it's bomb first. I've always said that.
I've always said that. Frank, Frank, we've had a text in about Sarah, actually.
Oh, no.
It says, Frank, did you... No, don't panic.
Okay.
It's only me that panics when we get those in. Frank, did you see Sarah on Graham Norton? I thought she really disarmed the US guests with her spicy anecdotes.
Yeah, it was
I just
They're from your
disarmed
agent.
them.
If Pete did, you probably had to disarm several of them.
I just removed all of the weapons and then did some jokes. That's enough.
Yeah, I think remove weapons before jokes is a good tip for any new comic.
Only have this extra. This is Frank Skinner
Absolute.
Radio.
Use somebody, Kings of Leon. It's not my sentiment. Got to make that clear. Sarah Millican is with us.
Hello.
Sarah Millican, who was on Graham Norton's show last night.
Yes,
Watched not by me, because I have an early night on a Friday.
that's fair enough. Yeah, that's that sort of age group, aren't you?
I have to get up at 6 o'clock in that Saturday morning.
Ronnie Wood's older. Ronnie Wood's older.
Ronnie Wood's older. Oh, so
Yeah.
it's not an age thing, it's just a Frank thing.
Ronnie Wood, of course, sleeps upside down, so that's different. But Gareth, who's the youngest member of the team, he was.
Did you
watching.
appoint
Yeah.
him to watch it?
Yeah, exactly.
I did it of my own free will.
He's
bless
our sort of version of Sky Plus. He comes in and he just tells us
What
about it.
happens?
My dad does that. Like, if I haven't watched a programme and I've sort of chosen not to watch a programme, but he's watched it, when he tells us about it, he'll tell us it, like, frame by frame.
Oh,
And-
no, that's
yeah,
hard
she-
work,
yeah,
isn't
shouldn't
it?
have-
When
should've
in
just
your
watched
life you
it.
realise someone's just describing TV to me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or a film. Some
Yeah,
people do a whole film.
film.
And then the fella said, oh, okay, this is a long conversation.
No, but you and P. Diddy on the same sofa, that is a wonderful thing to watch.
It's a bit weird, isn't it? Because he was talking about his parties and things, and you just think, I know we're both human, but that's the only similarity. We've got nothing else in common
What,
at
you've
all.
been to a party?
Well, no, because I like party food, but I don't like parties. So we bought some platters over Christmas and just ate them, in
Some
the
what,
house.
darling?
You know, like platters.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Have you ever been in a freezer shop, Emily?
I know what they are.
You've heard of
Freezers.
them.
But have you ever been in a freezer shop, Emily? She definitely has.
Have you ever been in one of those shops where they have tubs that you can shovel your own cornflakes? No. You've never been. We
that's
need
what
to go
that
out
is.
on a day out.
Is it like a cereal pick and mix? I like the sound of that.
Yeah, but then you can go like rice, and then you could have like marshmallows. It's
Oh.
it's quite random. So I'm totally going to take you shopping one day. You take me proper clothes shopping
Yeah,
to
I
make me
will.
look like a proper girl,
And
I'll
everything
take you
we buy will have a
shovel
proper
shopping.
hem on it. It's not coming away.
We'll have a proper hem on it.
I have a theory that Sarah might have loosened those hems herself to get 10% off. Just grow one thumbnail for about a fortnight.
It's a good idea.
So P. Diddy, did you chat to him after? Was he?
He sort of disappeared afterwards. He wasn't going to. I didn't expect him to go in the green room, to be honest, because he would have been bombarded by people. But I did have a sort of a few words with him afterwards. He was really nice,
Oh,
and
good.
Vince Vaughn was adorable. It was just weird to be the meat in that sandwich, not a rose between thorns,
God, I
just
thought
a
you
big
said-
slice of ham.
So you said you didn't see them afterwards. Anyway, so tonight I should specify you're up for Best Television Female Comic
Yeah.
and Best Female Comedy Breakthrough Artist.
Yeah.
Was that on The Hole in the Wall?
Oh, that's a good joke.
It's a bit odd in a way, isn't it, that they still have categories with male and female
Yeah.
in them. Why not just
Well,
have...
I think that's why I'm in two, because I don't think there wasn't enough nominees for for all, for 6 nominees over 2 categories, so they had put me in twice.
We're not going to put up with any modesty on this show.
Okay, I'm
You're on the
brilliant
crest.
twice.
You're on the crest of a comedy wave. Just enjoy it.
I'm excited, but it's still. It'd be nice to, have at least one.
It's good of you to. You'd accept. That's like when we're at the Albion and Adrian Charles says to me, "Would you accept a draw at this stage?" So you'd settle for one.
I'm not going to kick off. If I only get one.
If you don't get the other one,
If I get the first one, then I might be a bit disappointed if I don't get the second one, like in the order of the night. But if I don't get the first one, there's going to be a proper pet lip on by the time the second award comes round. So.
but then again, if you get the first one and don't get the second one, you might lose your temper and throw the first one.
Oh, there'll be
I might
purple
just-
flying everywhere.
I feel like somebody's in a whole tin of Quality Streets.
No, she's not wearing the purple.
No,
no.
no. I might bring it and just show you
Okay.
it, and you can
You
laugh.
might get some
I might take-
anti-papal protesters mistaken.
I'll show you how good the hem is. I bet it's got a good hem on it. The rest of it's quite substandard. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think I've never been to anything like that before. I've never been to like a live award, like a televised awards thing before. So, have you got any tips for us? You must have been to these things loads of times.
Say something massively funny when you get up.
I have got something in mind, but I'm not going to.
Have
I'll
you got-
tell you off air. but
No,
I won't tell you now.
don't tell us. Have you got 2 speeches lined up?
No,
What if you win 2?
I'll just go see him again.
Oh, don't know if that's all right.
Remember, I was funny last time. That's your lot.
Yeah,
It'd be great to
maybe I
go
could
up.
do the setup of a joke and
Yeah.
then save the
Knock,
punchline.
knock.
for
That'd
the
be
next-
optimism, wouldn't it?
What do you call?
Yes, that. What do you knock, knock.
Knock, knock, and then walk off. Yeah, that'd be. Oh God, if you got a bit of inside information, you could do that. That'd be
If only you
marvellous.
knew someone.
Emily knows. Emily knows.
Does
Emily knows
she know
lots of
everything? Does she know
Yeah.
everything?
Oh, she knows Andy. Anyway.
Stop it!
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Thank you. So, as you mentioned briefly, you also did the Royal Variety performance recently and stormed it.
It went all right.
You didn't get to meet the royals after, did you?
No, we didn't. They came, like, we had to stand all in our lines,
Yeah.
ready to meet the royals. And then this guy came out and said, I'm really sorry, but they've had to leave in, like, a police van. I might be making the van bit up. They
No, I think
definitely said
I think they did
was
leave
it
in a van.
Yeah, I thought so.
Because it was the night they got attacked by student protesters.
It was surprising that any of us made them laugh, because it was quite a traumatic sort of journey in. But anyway, they'd gone, so I just saw Take That, and I just launched myself at them instead, because they're my royalty, and I just went over and accosted them, and I met 4 of them. I've still got Howard to collect, but then I'll be done.
I've got 2 Howards if you want to swap. Yeah. I cloned him in the early 90s.
It's good to know. Have a spare. It's always good to have a spare Howard, isn't it?
Is that true? Is that one of your mottos for life?
Well, it's always good to have a spare Howard.
Yes.
It is now.
You're a loose woman as well now.
Yeah, yes. Can we capitalise the L and the W just to make sure everybody knows what that is? Yes, I just joined my first one was last Monday, and I did Thursday as well.
So you're going to be a regular on there?
Yeah. It's really fun. It's just like having a coffee morning, but it's on the telly. It's so much fun. And like the second time I was on Thursday, they had to contact the lawyers, and they're like, "Oh, this isn't good." Yeah, because I wanted to use a rude word, and
I see.
and I was all ready with loads of euphemisms, but they were happy for me to use the rude word, so I
Really?
did. And then it was so funny because loads of people are like, "Oh my god, everybody else on the panel looked really shocked," and I was like, "Yeah, we'd already gone over that. They knew, they knew what I was going to say. Everybody was prepared."
They were just distancing themselves.
Thanks, Gareth. I didn't even think about it like that. They were just leaving me to hang. No, it's really. It is.
You want to watch them?
Yeah, I will do actually now that you've turned me on to the evil ways. It's really fun.
I was fascinated to read, Sarah. I didn't know this about you, that you used to work in a sort of audio books.
Yeah, I used to produce audiobooks.
I'm slightly fascinated by audiobooks.
Oh, yeah. I
was looking at a sci-fi chat room recently on the internet, and somebody
For
said...
research or something.
No, and somebody said, he listed a load of books, and I've heard these on audiobook, unabridged. Is it the same as having read them? And I thought it was a very interesting question.
Well, unabridged, but it's the same. It's obviously the same amount of words, but it's not the same as having read them, because it depends what because our actors always used to do all of the voices and things, so it's much better than having read them, because I don't have a brilliant imagination. I can't do all the voices in my head.
So
like
you're
an actor
pro
could do.
audiobook?
Yeah, I'm definitely pro audiobook.
Who did you have in doing them?
It was just generally really loads of really good actors who'd done sort of radio work and had done a lot of voiceover work. I did produce Terry Waite once, which was pretty cool. And he wasn't even reading his own book; he was just reading a book that he liked. It was great.
Really?
Yeah, it was really
What, just
good.
one he'd bought on the way in?
No, it's just a book that it had been organised in advance. He didn't just turn up and knock on the door and go, "Can I read this book aloud?"
I've heard he's very spontaneous. He came round my house and he read me the first 3 chapters of Stig of the Dump. It was all right.
He was a really lovely man, but yeah, it's a really fun job. I read a lot of Mills and Boon, so it wasn't all good,
Yeah.
I read an awful lot of Mills and Boon, but it's good because it teaches you about romance and how not to do it.
So soon, presumably, you'll be writing your autobiography.
I don't know if there's anything left. Everything's been on stage. There's nothing left, and if it is left, it's been left for a reason, because it's not very funny. So I don't know.
I read the thing about the fact you were talking about that terrible gigs you'd done, and there was one you were talking about your marriage breaking up, and someone...
This the little old man?
Yeah,
yeah.
This is an amazing story.
I was at Jongleurs, and this man got up on stage, and you have to work hard to get into the weekend clubs. You work hard, and you eventually get to that point where people think you're good enough to do those clubs. And this, I was talking about my divorce, and this little old man just started to make his way onto the stage, and he said, "I've been divorced, I've got a couple of stories for you." And I said, "You've got to do 2 years open spots before you get anywhere near this stage, pet." And then the security guards led him away.
Well, I can tell you now, it was me. That was going to be my comeback. So. You quashed it. So look, well, I'm very excited on your behalf for tonight. I'm pretty confident, personally.
Are you really? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I can't think like that. I have to think that, it's just nice to be invited. It's lovely to be nominated. I really want one. I really want one. I'm so lying. It's just nice to be
Well,
nominated.
it's a nice start to the year, though, isn't it? That's the nice thing about moving the Comedy Awards to January, is that we used to close off a great year, but now it's a kind of a kickstart to yet another one.
Yeah, I think so. And also, there's a chance that if I did win one, that the rest of the year could go downhill. So it depends which way you're looking at it.
Well, you've still got those 900 tour gigs to do. So we should, before you go, if anyone wants to see you on tour, they can look it up on the internet.
Yes,
can't
I've
they?
got a website. It's got a pudding button on the website as well, where I just take photos of every pudding that I ever eat, so they can always look at that.
Well, it's worth looking just for that. And
Yeah.
it's called sarahmillican.co.uk, which is memorable.
Yeah, it's very straightforward.
I shouldn't think there's another one of those, is there?
I don't know. I don't think so. Well, I've got .uk and .com as well. So
Oh, have you?
yeah.
You've thought ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
When did you get
Bought
those?
them when I was 9.
Did it exist then, the internet, when I was 9? Oh, I'd have to have bought a notepad and hope for the best.
I've written your name on it.
And I've got the tour kicks off again on January the 29th at Warwick Arts Centre in Coventry. But is it totally sold out? The
No,
tour?
I think there are 4 or 5 dates that aren't sold out. But hopefully we're going to be doing another tour. So if people, are disappointed, they can always just put their name on the mailing list, and then I can let them know when the next one comes round.
So you're already working on the next tour?
Yeah. I did, because I'm doing Edinburgh, so I've got to be ready for then. So I always do a preview show in Leicester. I always do a very early Edinburgh preview in February, so that if I've got an hour by then, it'll be a good hour by August. So I'm just, you see, being a nerd at school made you got bullied, but being a nerd in comedy just means you get on. You do quite well. It's applauded.
That is
if
a
you do your
fabulous
homework.
ad. We can't top that. Can we? Well, it's what a year 2010 was. You're absolutely meteoric. And can I say, with absolute sincerity, it couldn't happen to a more beautiful person.
Oh,
So,
what a nice thing to say. Thank
yeah,
you.
it's totally true. Trust me, she's fabulous. And, funny. Funny,
Thank
I'll
you.
say. And I'll see you at the Comedy Awards maybe next year. I'm in a blue Mondeo. If you're hanging around outside looking about. That was the magnificent Sarah Millican.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That was Too Much Too Young by the Specials. And what are the specials today? I might have the bream. Yeah. What's that stuff that came with the bream? Caponata? Yeah. It's like a sort of a ratatouille, but
Yeah, there's an Italian ratatouille.
but it's got olives in
It's
it.
got parsnips.
Frank had a go at me when we had lunch the other day because he went, yes, I never ordered steak because it's too expensive.
Yeah, and you order it
Which
every
was
week.
his way of saying, I can't believe you're so decadent. You're like the last days of Rome. And I am.
And you don't even
Yeah.
eat the chips.
No.
She orders the steak every week, and that's out of your wages, Gareth. I don't know if you know that.
Really?
Yeah.
To look into that.
So, sorry. I met a bunch of mates the other night. They're all comedy writers.
Oh, yeah.
And we sat around. We hadn't seen each other for about 12 months. And we sat around basking in the failures of other people involved in the comedy world, talking about terrible shows we'd seen and awful gigs that people had had. And it made me realise that,
Mention me.
No, I think there was a section on you. It's about 40 minutes. Some of it scripted, some of it ad hoc. But it made me realise that all the rubbish comedy one does is not wasted, because the good comedy makes people laugh, makes people happy, but the bad people makes people happy in a similar, not in a similar way, in a spiteful, unfriendly way, but it does still spread joy.
Yeah.
So none of it is wasted, and that made me feel a lot better.
The magicians.
And encourages other comedy people. By being a bit rubbish, you're encouraging other comedians to excel and to feel good about themselves.
Yeah,
And
we
that
didn't
is a
talk about
wonderful thing.
didn't talk about the magicians. We've put a special night aside for that. We're going to have a magicians night.
Have a weekend.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, what's new with you, Gareth Richards?
we
That's
start-
Gareth Richards, ladies and gentlemen. Look him up on Chortle.
We start on... Yeah. We started. Don't read that review.
Okay.
No, the main. Yeah. Anyway, we started the show talking about arguments. It's good sometimes when you can tell people they're just wrong in a situation. This week, my mum, my brother and his wife are currently staying in my mum and dad's spare room because they've just sold their house, and my brother's wife is a vegetarian. Well,
Okay.
my mum finds this a little bit difficult because you've got to, and she insists on doing all the cooking. But you've got to do. But she does it. But she
A
sort
lot of issues about food, your family.
yeah. There's food issues
Funny
definitely.
about eating out.
Yeah.
Yeah, steak. Gone off the steak thing since I told him about the wages element.
And my mum was like, "Well, let me tell you this. The other day I was chopping some bread and I didn't have my glasses on, and I must have, I wasn't paying attention, and I must have cut myself a little bit, and I got some of the blood on the bread." Well,
This is your mum saying this,
Yes.
yeah?
Well, you will not believe the fuss that Kezia made about, that's my brother's wife, about there being blood on the bread.
Oh, she's fussy in the extreme. I like a bit of pension of blood on her. Actually, I prefer it on a Rivita. Is your mum's not a pensioner?
Not a pensioner.
What? Your mum is not a pensioner? How old are you?
I'm 31.
She was a child bride.
Oh,
Yeah, let's not do the maths.
No.
You don't want to. No, and so I was like, Mum, that is not acceptable.
No, I don't.
That is not even about being a vegetarian.
No, that's
It's
about not being a
vampire.
cannibal.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but
She said.
she's a hardy character, though. I think I may have cut myself. Who knows? If I cut myself slicing bread, something that doesn't happen that often, I'll be straight with you. I make one
Make
hell
a
of a
note.
fuss.
She's positively Bronsonian, your mother.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, do you mean as in Charles Bronson?
Yeah.
Fiend of the show.
Yeah, fiend of the show.
He was in the news this week, but I don't think we've got time to talk about it. And I'll talk about Charles Bronson till the cows come home.
Wow, yeah.
Just as long as he doesn't come home. That's all I'm worried about. So, next week, our guest is Andy Coulson. No, he isn't M. He isn't. Can you get him on?
Shut up.
Okay. Alex Horn is our guest next week. Yeah.
Hang on,
The
Frank.
horn.
No, okay, I was just checking.
Was you checking your...
Yeah.
Okay.
My back catalogue.
And you can listen to Not
He's
the...
checking your answer phone.
I'm plugging the
sorry.
podcast. This is a big
Yeah.
moment. You can listen to Not the Weekend podcast, which is available from Wednesday, which is completely different from this show. We just go to a room and we explore each other verbally. I enjoy it. And Ben Jones is on next. Thank you so much for listening. Without this show, your lives would be empty. I realise that. And no, I meant to say, without you, this show would be nothing. But unfortunately, the truth... Oh, God. So I shall be... My girlfriend and her sister will be at the comedy... When I get back tonight, they'll be, after the show, they'll be trying on outfits and stuff. And I'll be sitting in a corner... I might start drinking again. So, Comedy Awards, of course, is on live tonight. Not in our house! Anyway, what am I doing? Yes, goodbye.
You're listening to Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Working towards a mintier world with Treebor Soft Mints.